Alrighty, so KSI and Logan Paul's fight on August 25th is going to be, without a doubt, the biggest YouTube event in history. When KSI fought Joe Weller, they racked in over 25 million views within the first week of that live stream, with over 1 million people watching it live. We've got YouTube's golden boy, Logan Paul, fighting against the nightmare, KSI, who's bringing more than 10 million subscribers himself over to the fight. That's not even considering how many people who aren't subscribed to them are going to watch just for the sake of watching YouTube beef and drama, or just for the sake of tuning into this fight that is going to be spectacular. As always, I'm going to keep the breakdown of the boxing match as objective as I can and as honest as I can to be able to present to you, the viewers, the honest facts and let you guys gauge what your judgments are afterwards and form your own opinions from that. That being said, unlike the KSI Joe Weller fight, this one might not be so straightforward and easy to predict, but I was right then, and I was right about Mayweather and McGregor, and so far I've been right about all the winners of the FIFA World Cup games, so let's hope my luck doesn't run out too soon. Moving on, let's do a quick breakdown of both fighters and what they're bringing to the table, before I go in depth and really break down where their strengths and weaknesses lie, before presenting my final verdict. Logan Paul is 23 years old with a massive height of 6 feet 2 inches, and he weighs in at around 82 kilograms. He's an orthodox fighter, which means he's going to be fighting and leading with his right hand. Although he doesn't have any real boxing experience, he does have a prominent history in other athletics such as wrestling, but I'll touch on that a little bit later. KSI is 24 years old with his height coming in at around 5'9 to 5'11, and he weighed in at around 80 to 85 kilograms, give or take. He's also an orthodox fighter, so the way that they'll be lined up against each other will be relatively simple. Their swings will be opposite to each other rather than mirrored, which would be the case if one of them was a southpaw and one of them was orthodox. KSI has comparatively a lot more boxing experience than Logan Paul does, having not only fought and beaten Joe Weller, but also having trained relentlessly for his fight ever since then. And over all this time, he's clearly improved. Again, more on that later. So clearly, just by looking at them, there are a number of basic disadvantages stacked against JJ, with Logan not only having the size advantage, but having a longer reach advantage and previous fighting experience. Logan is a big guy, and he easily looks down at KSI. I mentioned that Logan had a past in wrestling when he was a lot younger, and honestly, he was kind of good at it. Now, before you start chiming off in the comments, let me be very clear. I know full well that his experience with wrestling has nothing to do with how he's going to perform in terms of boxing. They're two entirely different sports. You cannot compare one to the other for what they are. The rules are totally different and the strategies are completely different, because it's a different sport, more so if he was doing MMA instead. What it does show is that Logan is very athletic and not just trained to have aesthetic features. Logan has trained and maintained his physique over the past couple of years, and it's pretty easy to see that, especially in deleted scenes from movies like Baywatch, where we see exactly how cut and ripped he actually was and is. Regardless, both fighters have excellent fitness. We've seen a lot of KSI's training over the course of the year, and he's trained with the likes of Mayweather Sr., he's trained at the UFC gym, sparred against boxers like Bugsy Malone, and faced off against a lot of others as well. His main trainer for the Logan Paul fight has been Vidal, but recently Faye Sensei did come back to help him out a little bit more, but still mainly he's just got his one trainer. I, along with many others, believe that KSI is going much harder with his training than Logan is. I have never seen another YouTuber who's as competitive as KSI. Honestly, we haven't seen too much of Logan training, so for all we know, he's really good behind the scenes, and maybe he's keeping his strategy a secret. Or it could be the exact opposite. He could just be half-assing this competition, and I'll explain exactly why that might be the case for him. Either way, as it stands, KSI is out training him, regardless of whether Logan is actually training or not. KSI's form has never been better than it is now. It's phenomenal. Everything he brought to the Joe fight, mainly his power and basic footwork, has improved drastically. His speed, his agility, his stamina, his fighting power, his footwork, his stances, every aspect about his fighting skills has been hugely tuned up and hugely improved upon. His fighting prowess overall is at the best that it has ever been in his entire life. And that's nothing short of the effort and the training that he's putting in. I also really admire how self-aware KSI just is of his own strengths and weaknesses. After the Joe fight, he did a really good video reviewing the fight overall and discussing what both he and Joe did wrong and did well. Notably, he talked about his guard and how it wasn't that great, Actually, it was almost non-existent. Now, if you see his sparring matches or his other training, you can clearly see that his guard is always up. He keeps a tight guard very close to himself and moves quickly with fast footwork and head movement, showcasing that his defense actually has gotten much better. The point is, KSI is always humble when he trains. He's always open to criticism and always open to learning new things and adding things to his arsenal, and his mentors show him exactly what he needs to do to become a better and more dangerous fighter. Sure, he's cocky, but he's only cocky in boxing and in fighting and things that he's passionate about when he knows that he can actually back them up. Is it annoying? Yeah, it can be sometimes, but he backs it up every single time, and that's just something I respect. A big aspect in boxing, especially longer matches with longer rounds, is cardio. Since both of them are athletic, I do think that both of them will come in with very good cardio and will be able to draw the match out long enough to keep it entertaining, so long as one of them isn't knocked out very early on. Logan's cardio is pretty good, but again, KSI seems to have the upper hand with his cardio since a lot of his training really solely is just based on cardio work. It's very likely that KSI will be able to outbox Logan for that reason, just like he was able to outbox Joe Weller. Instead of going in for the kill, KSI will likely bide his time again, tire out Logan, and take it from there. KSI will probably go in with a strategy where he'll swarm Logan, get in very close to him to avoid having to deal with Logan's long range. That's a little bit of a flip of what we see that he had to do with Joe, where actually KSI was the one with the longer range, so he was staying back and jabbing at Joe. But now it seems that it's the flip where KSI will have to go in really close the way Joe should have done in order to do and inflict a lot of damage at Logan Paul. KSI seems to be mixing the defensive style of Mayweather, and we sort of saw this in the Joe Weller fight where he keeps one arm a little bit lower and one arm raised up a little bit higher, and he's mixing that with the explosive power of Mike Tyson's fighting style, which is really to get in there and to jab as fast as you can and do as much damage as you can up close and confuse your opponent and knock them out as fast as you can. That being said, Logan Paul looks like he's going to be very, very difficult to knock out. He's big, he's tall, he's strong. The next thing I want to touch on is that sparring video of Logan Paul that just came out recently and has been circulating a lot, and everyone's saying, oh my god, did you see Logan Paul knock out that one guy? It's amazing, he's going to kill KSI. Hold your horses. Although the form in that video is questionable, Logan's power is no joke. If he lands enough clean shots like that on JJ, I definitely think that Logan Paul could knock KSI out. I always say, regardless of the facts and the statistics, a fight can always come down to just random chance, because that's just the nature of other combat sports. But honestly, I don't get what the big deal is with this video. Really, is it that impressive? When KSI was training for Joe, he was able to knock out his trainer too, and it was a big buzz at the time. All these clips really do is just show us that both of these fighters are very strong and very dangerous, and that they're going to have heavy hits against each other. It doesn't mean that one is definitely going to knock out the other. They both can knock each other out. It just depends on how the fight actually plays out. The final thing that fights often come down to is mindset. If everything else is completely equal, the one thing that could set apart the winner and the loser is who wants it more. I talked about it in my last fight prediction video, but it still stands true. Logan Paul is a businessman, inside and out. He also knows his army of fans are blindly loyal to him. He filmed that video in the Suicide Forest, we all remember it, but regardless of that fact, almost all of his fan base still supported him, still stayed behind him, and was still there by his side the entire time. Now, regardless of what I think about that whole shebang, what it means is that if Logan does end up losing this fight, he doesn't really have much to lose in the way of his fans will hate him. They really won't. They probably won't judge him. They'll say, oh, he did his best, he'd never boxed before, blah, blah, blah. Come up with any excuse that they can. But they'll support him, right? End of the day, that's what'll happen. As I said before, more viewers than ever before are going to be watching this fight, and all it means for Logan is that he's just gonna have more publicity and more exposure. For JJ, it's the complete opposite case. For JJ, it's not just about the money, it's also about his ego and his integrity and his personal image. He called out Logan Paul to this fight. He challenged Logan, called him out, and he's been the one who's hyping this fight, showing off his training for months, and the fight is even taking place in the UK. And the fact that JJ is actually the favorite this time just means all of that pressure is just compounded even more. Everyone wants him to win, so he has to deliver. If he does lose, in basic terms, Logan is his dad. Since he's got more to lose, I generally believe that KSI's competitive nature and his focus will push him to take this fight more seriously overall. Now, the fight is still in about 2-ish months. Although that's not a lot of time, it is enough time for Logan to still improve and pick up some new boxing tips and tricks that he can actually add to his arsenal and use against KSI come August 25th. That being said, I doubt it'll compare to the daily prep that JJ has been doing since last year. Now, do I think I'm going to see a knockout? This time, probably yeah. Both of these fighters, I think, are going to be going in for the kill. At the press conference, Jake Paul talks a lot about how he wants Logan to go in the second round and get that knockout. If that's his strategy, then I do think that JJ will be able to outmaneuver and work against that. However, if both of them play their cards right and actually draw the fight out long enough, I think that either one of them could actually end up being knocked out. Again, knockouts are a little bit fickle in terms of who's going to win the fight. I do think that the odds stack up for JJ. I think that it's just going to be another win for KSI. Logan might have the size and the power to do a lot of damage to him. Although it's definitely a factor in his favor and that I believe that JJ is going to come out bruised and battered this time, everything else about JJ is much stronger than him. His cardio, his training level, his experience, the fact that he's preparing different fighting styles to be able to deal with the new obstacle that's standing in his path. Everything that he's done so far outmatches Logan Paul. Even the mental game leans more towards JJ in his favor. JJ's trained against and fought bigger, stronger guys, and he's had his ass handed to them, all to train for another fight like Logan, all to prepare him for the power that's going to be coming for him. But he's learned, and he's grown immensely. The KSI at the Joe Weller fight wasn't the KSI who used to play FIFA, and the KSI that we're going to see on August 25th is not the same KSI who was fighting against Joe Weller. This is the new KSI, the Nightmare, and that's why I think KSI is going to win again. Why he's going to beat Logan Paul. At the end of the day, all I know is that at the end of this event, what we're going to see is the difference between a comedian and a boxer. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and comment down below who you think is going to win the fight, whether you agree or disagree with my prediction. I'm always curious to hear what you said. I also have my social media links down below. I'm always posting behind the scenes stuff. I'm updating on video work. There's other fun, cool stuff on my social medias. Make sure to turn on your post notifications so you never miss a video when I upload. And as always, there's more content coming soon. And peace.